Hello all, with you all the facts, and today we will talk about the usual tea, starting with the history of origin and smoothly move to the useful properties of this drink, and most importantly learn what harm can bring our body this seemingly ordinary and fragrant drink. And before we start, do not forget about luck, which will certainly bring you a nickname, a subscription and a bell. Here we go. The history of tea goes back over 5,000 years. On our planet there is not a single person who would never have tasted this wonderful drink, which took second place by popularity after water. It is no secret that tea is one of the oldest drinks on earth, being drunk as early as 2700 BC. The history of the appearance of tea is directly linked to ancient China. A long time ago scientists proved that tea as a wonderful healing drink was widespread during the reign of the Chinese dynasty of Tang. By the way, in those ancient times tea was considered exclusively as a medicinal product, and only some time later gourmets saw in it a source of pleasure. Europeans got acquainted with tea in 17th century, and the first to find tea were the Portuguese, the Dutch and the English, who bought this wonderful product in China. Gradually rumors about this wonderful drink reached France, and one of the most ardent tea fans was Louis XIV, who ordered to treat gout with this drink. In Paris, tea was a man's drink, while ladies preferred coffee and cocoa. Tea tastes like hay and dung, said Lieselotte von Palatinate, the king's daughter-in-law, about the legendary tea. The history of tea in Germany dates back to the middle of the 17th century when tea was widely sold in pharmacies. One doctor even established an ideal amount of tea which, when drunk, could cure a person of many diseases, from 50 to 200 cups a day. In Scandinavian countries tea could not occupy a leading position as coffee was a serious competition for it there. However, in England, this product became a national drink. The history of British tea goes back to the end of 1600s, and by 1790 the primitive Englishmen changed from coffee drinkers to a nation that drank only tea. The formation of strong tea drinking traditions is connected with the reign of Queen Victoria, who created the so-called English rules of tea etiquette. One of the main traditions that emerged in the 19th century was the famous 5 o'clock tea, or 5 o'clock tea. Tea came to the United States from Japan and China in the 17th century, thanks to Dutch traders. And since then its consumption has been growing steadily. The rich began to organize tea parties with all the proper paraphernalia, porcelain tea sets and teapots, which they bought from London. However, the events that followed, tea taxation, higher taxes and so on, culminating in the famous Boston Tea Party of 1773, did a serious damage to America's tea culture. Despite this, tea is very popular in the US today, although it has failed to regain its former glory. The main health benefits of tea are polyphenols, particularly catechins and epicatechins. Laboratory studies show that these molecules have anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Certain types of green tea help improve metabolism and, with the right diet, promote weight loss. Harvard studies of large groups of people have shown that tea drinkers without sugar have a lower risk of diabetes and in some cases cardiovascular disease. Tea relieves fatigue, stimulates metabolism and normalizes heart, blood vessel, digestive, and nervous system activity. Tea is rich in useful trace elements not often found in other foods: copper, fluoride, iron, manganese, zinc, calcium. Tea suppresses the growth of malignant tumors and significantly reduces the risk of cells turning into cancer. Tea contains zinc, which is essential for pregnant women. Tea slows the aging process of cells and therefore promotes longevity. Tea leaves have a rejuvenating effect that is 18 times greater than that of vitamin E. Tea tannin kills many bacteria and therefore prevents stomatitis, sore throats, enteritis, and other intestinal infections. Tea is good for reducing weight and improving skin health. Wuluan, black dragon, teas have a particularly noticeable effect. Tea slows down the formation of fatty deposits on the inside of blood vessels, thus reducing the likelihood of sclerosis, hypertension, and brain clots. Tea can be used to prevent cataracts. Tea has a cooling effect. A few minutes after a cup of hot tea, the temperature of the skin drops by 1 to 2 degrees, which gives a feeling of coolness and freshness. No such effect is observed with cold tea. However, the abundance of pluses does not exclude the minuses. Hot tea can cause bleeding. A British otolaryngologist and plastic surgeon, Henry Sharp, believes that the habit of drinking tea scalding hot can have bad effects on the vessels of the nasopharynx. The steam from the cup causes them to dilate, and often provokes nasal bleeding. In addition, there is a theory that hot tea can increase the risk of developing esophageal cancer. Fortunately, not everyone agrees with it. In any case, the optimal temperature of the drink is considered to be 50 to 60 degrees Celsius. To reach the ideal, a cup of freshly brewed tea is enough to stand for 5 to 7 minutes at room temperature. Too much tea damages teeth and bones. The New England Journal of Medicine published the stories of several patients who suffered from the habit of drinking too strong drink. So, remarkable case of 47-year-old woman who for 17 years daily helped herself to tea, brewed from 100 to 150 bags. In a relatively short period of time, she lost practically all her teeth and acquired excessive bone fragility. These are symptoms of skeletal fluorosis. It is caused by the accumulation of fluoride in the bones, including from strong tea. It is clear that not everyone can drink so much strong tea, but it is still worth remembering the measure. Nutritionists recommend to drink no more than 4 to 5 cups a day. Tea may contain heavy metals. In 2013, the Canadian Journal of Toxicology published the results of a study of a large number of samples of bagged tea from different regions of the planet. Toxicologists found heavy metals in the samples, particularly lead, aluminum, arsenic, and cadmium. It is assumed that the metals get in the tea leaves due to contaminated soil. Often the plantations are located, for example, near environmentally unsustainable coal-fired power plants. The concentration of metals in the drink depends on the brewing time. If a bag has been in the water for 15 to 17 minutes, the level of toxic substances rises to unsafe levels. For example, in some samples the concentration of aluminum was up to 11,449 micrograms per liter with an allowable daily maximum of 7,000 micrograms per liter. The scientists drew a conclusion: the longer you brew the tea, the more all kinds of nastiness washes out of the leaves into the water. That is why you should not infuse your drink for more than 3 minutes. Another option is to prefer white tea. Its leaves are picked very young, which means that they do not have time to accumulate a critical dose of heavy metals. Sometimes tea is harmful for the liver. Herbal teas often accumulate pyrrolizidine alkaloids, toxins produced by certain kinds of flowering plants. These toxins negatively affect the body as a whole, but their main target is the liver. In 2015, the journal Food Chemistry published the results of a study of 44 samples of herbal teas intended for infants, pregnant, and nursing women. Scientists found pyrrolizidine alkaloids in 86% of the samples. In principle, the dose of toxins that is realistically obtained from tea, when consumed in moderation, naturally, is practically safe for an adult. The situation is different with infants and pregnant and nursing women. Because of their low body weight, the infant, and even more so the unborn baby, are more vulnerable to toxins from their mother. Drinking tea after a meal can lead to iron deficiency. Research conducted at the University of California in 2011 proved that tea binds iron from food, significantly reducing its absorption by the body. If you regularly drink tea after a meal, you can get to the iron deficit, which is fraught with unpleasant consequences, from deterioration of the skin, hair, lethargy to iron deficiency anemia, which you will have to deal with together with a doctor. Therefore, physicians recommend not drinking your favorite drink for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Before tea drinking, at least 20 minutes should pass. Tea causes insomnia. The culprits are caffeine and aromatic substances, for which we, in fact, love tea. The invigorating effect of the drink has a physiological basis. The pulse quickens, the blood flow quickens, the adrenal glands secrete more adrenaline, the central nervous system and the brain become excited. In the morning or in the middle of a busy day, tea is a godsend. But in the evening, the overexcitement of tea can overtake all your sleep. If you really want a nightcap, it's better to limit yourself to herbal drinks, which have a lower caffeine content than black and especially green tea. For this reason, do not forget about the moderate use of tea and about likes with a subscription for good luck. See you again on the channel. All the facts.